Allegedly, it's just the word allegedly. It's what I heard allegedly. It's on the street allegedly. I sing to the beat allegedly. Allegedly, allegedly, it's what I heard allegedly. It's just the word allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue allegedly. It won't help you allegedly. 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 Bitch, one of you was flat. Allegedly, it's just the word allegedly. It's what I heard allegedly. It's on the street allegedly. I sing to the beat allegedly. Allegedly, allegedly, it's what I heard allegedly. It's just the word allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue allegedly. It won't help you allegedly. 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 Bitch, one of you was flat. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Not gonna let it fall on Elise Neil's head. Oh, yeah. Elise Neil claims head injury suffered while filming Hollywood Divas at Bowling Alley prompted her to leave TV1 reality show. Elise Neil has claimed she left Hollywood Divas after suffering a head injury while filming the TV1 reality show. The 49-year-old actress said she was filming at a bowling alley when a light fixture broke and hit her head, according to an article on Sunday by TMZ. The Hughley's star claimed that production, headed up by Carlos Cigarette King, attempted to cover up the incident and accident and continue filming as if nothing had happened. The Hustle and Flow actress said producers have refused to pay for her medical bills that include the cost of the x-rays and MRIs. Hollywood Divas ran for 2 seasons on the TV1 network. I would like to shout out Kempire and the What Else Is Going On podcast for their exceptional and amazing coverage on Surviving Carlos, which I strongly urge you to go watch on Kempire's channel. And Kempire will be blessing us with an appearance on Pop Roast next weekend. So stay tuned for that. We'll be seeing him Saturday, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow for Pop Roast as well. But let's get to discussing Carlos. Let's get to discussing Surviving Carlos and his supposed safe spaces for Black women. Wasn't safe for Elise Neil. Sure wasn't. When Kim's so we open with the roast when Kim says, well, you know, Tari is the only one I can talk Love and Marriage Huntsville with because she's the only other person who watches it. The truth. Yes, exactly. His tagline is let's have a real conversation, but when has he had a real conversation? Them interviews. I mean, basically, it's just he lets the guests ramble while he worries about that spray on hair. And he ain't worried about it enough because it looks like spray on hair. Oh, so now he started pre-recording the lives after Akeisha surprised that ass with her quitting on live. I didn't know. Yes, thank you. We do not hate Carlos King. This isn't personal. We just cover the news. Now, did I think it was tacky and trifling for him to try to do some allegedly show merch? Sure. I did.
So I will make sure that I cover everything on him. You want to be petty? I'll be petty too. I quit smoking so I can be petty longer. I'm going to be petty to you forever. Okay, what's the difference between a Carlos King and an Andy Cohen? There are similarities and there are differences. Both are people behind the scenes that yearn to be the star. People behind the scenes enjoy the art of manipulation. A lot of it is jealousy. A lot of it is jealousy. A lot of it is you couldn't act, so you had to do this. You couldn't act, so you had to do that. You weren't pretty enough, so you had to do this. You weren't cute enough, so you had to do that. You didn't have quote unquote chemistry. A lot of that. A lot of that. A lot of personality and not pretty enough. So and look at both of them. Look at both of them. The definitions of personality. Not pretty enough. Not tall enough. Because they were able to manipulate themselves into a position on stage by aligning with talent, they have fooled themselves into thinking they are talent when they are not. When they are not. And that will always be the difference betwixt us and them. And this is why you can have talent go behind the camera and there's never an issue. Why? Because we're not jealous of the people on camera. We don't care. We don't want to do it anymore. Like Raven Simone is directing. Raven, if she wanted to be on camera, she could be. She's like, I don't want to do that. I want to be in my bald lesbian phase. Comfortable behind the camera. But also completely and utterly not jealous. Completely and utterly. Carlos, Andy, jealous. Do they want to be housewives? No. They want to be stars. And the closest they could get to being a star is being next to a housewife. I make fun of housewives, but I can make fun of anything. I agree with Kempire. It's the fact that Carlos is constantly saying, I'm creating a place for black women. Telling their stories for $1,200 an episode on OWN. Why can't you get a deal with Bravo? Why did you walk away from Bravo, start a company, and not use your relationship with Bravo? Why did Andy Cohen look you in the face and say, I don't believe in your production capabilities enough to hire you after working with you for 8 years? Why? When will you answer that question honestly? Why is your asshole busted out like that? Okay, so let's get to the portion that was edited out of Love and Marriage Huntsville. The grooming. Let's look. I need the technical definition of grooming. I need a definition because I don't think you can groom a 40-year-old. You can groom someone young and inexperienced. Destiny may be many things, but she is neither young nor inexperienced. That's a seasoned heifer. You ain't got to groom her for shit. Just ask her, you want some dick? I'm getting some. You want some too? Then the whole bringing up, Nell was slopping on Martell's knife. She wanted people to join it. No. I could see her just being like, I'm doing it in the car. Just the voyeur thing. Who was that geezer? The Jacqueline. Jacqueline said she was into that with Lying Mia. So it could have been that. Who cares? Were you even in the vehicle? You weren't in the vehicle, but they're grooming you. Lord, don't nobody even want to do your toenails, Myra. So we are confused by Destiny's allegations because, well, Destiny's confusing. She always contradicts herself. I think Carlos will do what he's done every season. He will find other women for Melody to chew up and spit out. Except this time, Melody won't have to chew them up and spit them out. He'll find 2 women in poor marriages whose husbands are cheating on them in different, poor Southern Black towns. So now we're getting into, does Carlos actually protect Black women? Oh, they said it seems like he's preying on the Black community. The community. Would I rather see Janet Jackson or Lauryn Hill's concert? I'll take a nap. You have a Black producer that will bring his Black talent on his podcast and pit them against each other. Oh, thank you. Don't nobody want to be Carlos King. He wants to be us. We get a clip of Mel addressing Destiny's grooming claims. Destiny, this is how you looked at the reunion, and you want to talk about somebody was trying to groom you? Why is your wig piss yellow and your dress a poor fit if someone was trying to groom you? You look very unkempt to have been attempted to be groomed. Mel reads their text messages and they sound very normal and very unkempt, ungroomed, and as boring as the show is. And it's so interesting. We're not talking about something that's on the show. We're talking about more ridiculous lies and storylines like the supposed I just realized how much this sounds like Portia saying, Todd and Candy wanted a threesome, and that then, they were willing to do things, and that was also giving a groom tea. Why is it the same plot lines keep hanging around Sissy King, Cigarette King, Carlos Cigarette King? Yeah, you was trying to bring your kids around this heifer, but you want to talk about being groomed? She didn't even pull out a hairbrush. Not for them shitty wigs. Wouldn't have helped no way. Destiny, you're as ungroomed as this wig. Child, own is 5% Oprah. 5% owned by Oprah. Girl, boom. Bronx is more groomed than Destiny. Okay, so now Destiny's feeling used by production and Martell and mealy mouth Tisha. Child, not the Espos coming. Does Tisha really have fans? I mean, I guess everybody can have a fan. I'm not going to begrudge Tisha fans, but are there really the Espos out there? If you were Espo, let me know in the chat. So is Love and Marriage Huntsville over without Melody Cherie Rogers? Girl, it was your husband was cheating on us. You were in a sister-wife throuple marriage and you was fine with it for many a moon. Many a moon. But when she decided to conceive, you decided to leave and get things a little more interesting because you had the show coin. If it wasn't for the show, he would have his crosstown baby that you wouldn't want to hear about. So I'm hooked on a feeling. Somebody told Tisha to stretch her tongue. Carlos has allowed darkness to consume the essence of the show, or is it just that Carlos is the darkness? Because he was able to get to the same level of darkness that we had on Housewives of Atlanta in the same number of seasons. So is it just Carlos? Is Carlos the darkness? So Kempire takes us back to the interview with House of Aaron when Candy let us know why she didn't mess with Carlos anymore, because he tried to steal the escape life story and was getting stories from Heifer Joyce, stealing from her own mother, trying to ensnare intellectual property rights for pennies on the dollar. He stole the story and sold it to TV One. Didn't just steal, but sold. Ooh, and y'all, I want to know, you know what? Maybe he tried to do something else underhanded with Bravo like that, where he tried to secure a deal and get some backhanded stuff, and it was, their intellectual property technically, and that's when Bravo said, oh, we're freaking done with you. Maybe he tried to do like a movie deal or something with one of them, and they found out, and it violated his compete clause. I want to know. I want the truth about Carlos's firings, because he is the darkness. Yes, We Go podcast. You better get them. Always using biblical terminology to spin the narrative. Always trying to get Jesus in it. Ain't nothing holy about you, heifer. You were stealing from Riley Eeyore Burris with that, Carlos. You were stealing from, they all have kids. I just remember Riley's name. And then there's Tiny got them, that unbaked looking son. And Zanique's a nice girl. I like her. But Lord, that little unbaked boy got a grandchild coming already. But yeah, Carlos, she was stealing from all of them, taking Escape Story from Grandmama's. That is one sorry cigarette we can never forget. I want to know if he's going to have any more new information on that light on Elise Neil's head. Pop Roast is going to be here on Saturday. We will be back on all streaming platforms. I'm slowly getting us back on Spotify. Now, then we have Aikisha throwing the deuces on live, making sure she embarrassed him. I didn't want Carlos to find out any other way. That was the most nice, nasty F-U-C-K. She spelled it out. She said, I am quitting on live. My attorney just sent you a letter. I'm embarrassing you publicly. Public. Girl. I mean, she basically could put your nudes out. Don't nobody want to see that. I mean, everybody's face was cracked. Everybody's face was cracked. And then they said toodles toots. So Carlos apparently, now we get into the So Gucci mess. And Carlos knew that Latrice's nephew had apparently stolen her phone, but wouldn't stand up for her. Why? Like, Carlos gives me one of those gays that's stuck in high school. I mean, he's still referring to himself as Big Lows. Big Lows. And talking about, oh yeah, I used to date girls. I did it with her. Nobody cares what heifer was scamming you out of Red Lobster or Applebee's entrees, okay? Don't nobody give a shit about what you was doing for company 20 years ago. I know, I don't. What's my thoughts on Felon Park skipping the reunion? I'll talk about that on Pop Roast. So then we have an interview with Millie Chan and So Gucci, where shout out to Millie Chan, we love Millie Chan over here, where So Gucci said, look, if my higher up don't give a crap about me, then maybe I shouldn't be working for this person. And you shouldn't. And you shouldn't. But he's about protecting Black women. You're about being a bully and reliving some type of Clueless scene. That's what you're about. You're trying to be popular. And this is also really interesting. We have been asking for years, Carlos, why don't you talk more about your own shows? It's because you don't like those girls. It's truly because you don't like these girls. You don't like them, you don't respect them, and that's why you don't have them on your platform. You don't want to be bothered with your own shows. These are women that you truly feel you are above, and it shows in the way that you're treating them and the way that they're suing you. So the only thing he ever did with So Gucci was call her in February and ask her to come back on the show. And she said no. Girl, do I need to start producing reality television so that we can have something nicer than this? Carlos, we trusted you with our time and attention, and you have done nothing but be a disappointment, a failure. You are the darkness. You are the darkness. Oh, Gucci said, I think Mel should have left sooner. Oh, Gucci's in talks with her lawyer. Maybe there'll be a class action. That would give me satisfaction. How many cases do you need for a class action suit? While there is no specific number, too few can keep the courts from certifying it as a class action. But I think if we could get Monique, Aikisha, Mel, we could get a class action against Carlos and Kingdom Reign and end this reign of terror. Oh, you want it to be like Andy Cohen so bad, Carlos? Well, get ready for your reality reckoning. Oh, and she knew if I do come back, he's just going to try to use me as a target. Chew you up and spit you out. He is the reality shit machine. Ha! Oh, okay. So they want to say they don't believe in violence. And Gucci would have lost her job if she had thrown the first punch, which is why she put the order against Selena, because Selena came on the show. And how many times did they replay that fight over and over and over? But you don't believe in violence. And you want to protect Black women. Oh, there's reports that Gucci may have filed already. We ain't confirmed. I ain't found nothing yet, but we're on the lookout. Now we get to Monique, who said he specifically used the black card to bamboozle her into joining Love and Marriage, DC. And we saw they gave her a piss poor villain edit and sent her on her way, chewed her up and spit her out. And you would think that you would want to base your show around a star that you were able to poach from Bravo. Take her right out from Andy's nose. And instead, she was so sick of working with you, she said, I will never do reality television again, and hasn't. And hasn't. Why do you think it's appropriate to continue to pay Black women pennies on the dollar? She felt like she got trashed on that show. Wait a minute. You felt trashed on this show when you whooped the ass on Bravo? And you saw how they treated you, and I mean, girl, they chased you off the platform. Giselle showed up with security. And let's not forget about Rob the Throb with an umbrella. And you still feel more trashed on a Carlos King production. He is the darkness. You are the darkness. You are the darkness, Carlos. You are the darkness. There's something soiled within your soul. And I'm tired of it. Oh, that's right. And Sherelle and Black from Love and Marriage DC also said they would never appear again. Every time he worked, like, not 50% of the people that work with him are like, they never want to see you again. Why? Because that's not true for Andith Cohen. Andith Denise Cohen can keep a cast together. So now we go back to Winter's interview. I really hope we get to the light on Elise Neil's head. And Winter says production got... Winter was set up from the onset to be seen as jealous of the co-stars' healthy marriages. But those co-stars don't have nobody's healthy marriage. A producer on set was actually yelling, get her, get her, get her, get her, get her, at Winter. The misogyny and network was present. But again, Oprah only owns 5% of OWN. But network was present with this type of behavior going on. Elise Neil's head. So Carlos, at the end of Winter's beration session, says, I know that was a lot. You're going to be strong. And the We Go podcast, she brings up a great point. Carlos always brings distress and destruction to Black women, but then says, it's okay, you're strong. Bump that bullshit. Now, hold on. They want to say, well, they'd also do this with Kenya. Girl, Kenya would come for everybody's relationships and try to mess shit up. And then when people would call her on it, oh, I'm single, I'm here without a man. No. You mess with couples, and then couples have to address it. So you started that shit. She starts that shit. I'm sorry. You can't picket couples and then be upset when you're and knowing your ass is single as a dollar bill and don't nobody want you. But you always got some couple in your mouth. You got Apollo's name in your mouth and trying to have his dick in there too. I'm sorry. You can't come for somebody else's man, for somebody else's relationship or shit, and not expecting it right back double. I'm okay with it with Kenya because Kenya brought it on herself. I can't save you from shit you brought on yourself. I can't stop your karma. What you saw with Kenya was karma. Karma. Now, Winter, that was different. That was not karma. But Kenya, you went around to each couple and tried to start some mess. No, that was Kenya's karma. Two things can be true. But yes, Carlos is trying to be in the mess, not really be the moderator, and then he can't control the chaos he creates. You know, Kempire brings up a great point. There is a lot of the edit that does matter. We want to say, the camera can't use it if you don't give it, but context matters. If I'm mad, if I'm, letting my anger be expressed, am I just an angry person, or is someone pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed where my reaction is actually below what it should be? Ha! They said when this goes to trial, they should be in the courtroom. I would be right there with them. But there are rumors that there is a suit coming from Soguchi and Melody. Will they join forces? Only time will tell. Oh my God, Wego has another great point. The show is over for Martel if Mel doesn't come back because nobody likes Martel. He's a loose cannon. And you wouldn't have a story without Mel. They'd be happy to get rid of your ass. What point, what purpose? I mean, I guess they could bring on Coleslaw, but she's still a producer, so she might be able to nix that. And we know everything we need to know about Coleslaw from her uninteresting Instagram lives. She's not going to be good TV. All right, well, that was The Gist with Al, and I'm going to see y'all soon for something. Let me get this edited.